Hi, I'm Lyle Sopel, and you're in my studio today, and I'm a Gem and Jade stone sculptor. And start with some of a harder stone today. So I've just been cutting a piece of jasper here that I really like the color of. So I have to use my oil saw to do this because jasper is extremely hard material. It's actually an agate, so let's take a look at it, see what we got. I love gemstone art because of this very reason. It's always Christmas. Every time you make a cut into a rock, you never know what you're going to get. So it's like Christmas to me every time. So this is really what I was looking for. This is the thing I'm looking for. It's the color. So I've been on a search in the last few days for color. And I want to show you why in a second here. But today we're going to talk about how to get your art in front of your desirable clientele and how to make more money at it, and a few other things too. But follow me through the studio here. I want to show you what I'm up to. So always with gemstone art, you get what you get, and so that's how you can design into, that's what your designs are going to generate from, is from your material. So what I'm trying to do here is really prove this material to make sure that it's solid and interesting and the color that I want. So, but beforehand, I usually do a lot of drawings and things of that nature. So in this case, I've got my sketchbook down into the studio, and I do a variety of drawings, and in this case, this is beyond sketching. This is more of a finished drawing, and so I've been looking at owls a lot, and I love the bird, and it's one of my favorite things to work with. And so I've been doing a lot of owl studies, and I particularly like the barn owl, which I did not draw here, but I think it will work out really well as a subject because of the colors I've chosen here. So we can have a look at some of these drawings in a little bit, but I want to show you what this is going to be like. So I've chosen this theme, this idea that I drew out as kind of the story that I want to portray. And this is the color that I want to use for the owls. I'm going to show you why. So over here, we've set up a base. And this is black quartz and tiger eye. And we've crafted a tree out of the tiger eye. And as you can see, it's actually two pieces of the tiger eye, and it's secured together. This is not, it's not fixed. It's just sitting there on pins at this point. So the theme is to have this nice little, maybe a young owl or something of that sort that's just resting in the trees. And I want to use this material because it really suits the barn owl color in his back. But I also want to take out the face and possibly put it in there. Let me show you what it's going to look like here. Barn owls have this beautiful white face, and they're actually a heart shape, really. So they have these eyes are very compelling, and a face that's something like this. So this is the idea, is I cut out the face portion and come down to the beak here. Cut out the face portion and insert it into the body part in this material here. And that will be the larger, or maybe the parent of the two. And then this interior one here will be the one that's going to be sleeping or something like that according to the drawing. So I've got this. This is cachalon, and it's actually it's a white opal, so I'm told, but I think it would be perfect as a very strong white. Or I have some jadeite. So jadeite is maybe a little more colored, and it could also work well in this case. Maybe, yeah, I don't know. I haven't decided yet, but the jadeite could work. And I use it occasionally, and it does come from Burma. And I was able to get some through an auction some time ago, and so I'm able to have some inventory of it, but it's very rare to have it. And of course, all of these are very rare. But that's the plan, and that's the idea, how it's come along. And so we do the base and then add those other parts to it. So one of the questions I want to answer today is how to import or to ensure that your art gets the maximum attention. And so, you know, as you can see here, I'm doing a lot with the story. I'm doing a lot with the color. I'm doing, you know, everything I can in order to emphasize the stone and really show the best of everything. So one of the main points about getting attention or keeping your art in the attention of the people you really want it to be in front of is by overproducing, overdoing what you think would be enough. And that's the old saying, as I've said it before, is, you know, being an artist, you can't do anything that's just good. It's got to be amazing. So you always got to think like above what you're doing and try to achieve a next level every time you work on something. That way, when people see your work, they see your energy and your effort and the planning that you put into creating your pieces. That makes it a little bit above the competition. And that's also a really important thing to stay reminded of, is who is your competition? Who are the other people that do art that's like yours? Who are those guys, and what are they doing? And I think it's always really important to know. In some cases, they may be better than what you think your art is, or they may be worse, whatever, in your judgment. But the point is to understand what they do and achieve a higher standard in your own mind about what that art is. And that's what's going to keep attention on your art, is to always try to go a bit better. When you look at other people's art, the temptation is to, you know, admire it and think that they're more successful or whatever because of what they do. And that's not always the case. I mean, it's sincerity and honesty is really the key to being successful as an artist. I've had so many people copy my art in so many different ways, and it always looks like I did a bad job. When people look at the copies, it looks like I didn't do what I was intending to do in some way. So, you know, you never want that to be the case where your art is undervalued in some way. So what's missing in a copy is the honesty and sincerity that the client would expect to see or feel when they look at your art. So always very important. Art is not a commodity. It's something way more than that. It's a very high standard of emotion and high standard of experience that a collector would get involved with when they see it. So I've got a few other things going on in the studio today. Last week, I did a show in Seattle last week, and I promised that I would show you some of the completed pieces after the show. So I had to keep them quiet until I was able to show them to the clients in the show. And everything went really, really well, and we all had a great weekend in Seattle. It was fantastic. Haven't been to that city for a while, and it was really fun to go there, see the museums, and beautiful weather there too, so it was really awesome. So I worked on an eagle piece. It was a double eagle piece, and I posted that on my on my Facebook page, and a puffin piece that was really fantastic. I really loved it, and it got really the most attention in the whole show was the puffins, and it was because of color, emotion, story, all that kind of stuff. So when you get a chance, have a look at those, and you can see what was the result of my months of work. So those were the two main feature pieces in the exhibition. So I'm off to another group of pieces here, and I started just the rough out of a blue heron last week, and you can see here that I've kind of refined the model a little bit, but it's still a sketch. And for me, like, the sketch is good, it's fine. I don't have to do more than this. And what I really want to see is just being able to get the proportion correct and the angles of the body and that sort of thing. That's what I really want to have available in the model. So also right here in the Jade is, and you can see that it is Jade, is the rough-in. Now you've got about 4 hours of carving into this already. So we just started it this morning, and we just start working around the shape. So one of the points I wanted to talk about today also was, 3 ways that you can get more money for your work. And this is probably an interesting example to use here. Is this piece is, like, it's a different kind of piece. It's different in the sense that it's all a solid form rather than something that's made up of different pieces. And so, how do I value that? And it's like, I value this as much or even maybe more because it's all a giant piece of stone that I would work with. And I know how rare this jade is. It's very, very beautiful, consistent all the way through. There's no change in color. So really, to get more money for your work, you have to think, if I don't value my work, who will? That idea, that old adage that says, if I don't hold the value, then who else will? And so if you're of the mind that says, well, my work isn't quite good enough and I don't know if I should do it or try to sell it for what I think I should get for it, that kind of attitude, you have to stop that. You have to stop that and step up and really love what you do. And I know you love it because you're doing it. You wouldn't do it if you didn't love it. So what you have to do is share that love with the people that see it and really feel strongly about how you're doing it. So value it yourself. And when you value it, other people will as well. It's a really simple rule, but it's true. It's what really counts is how you feel about it. It's your mindset towards your creations. And if you're not feeling good about what you do, a really good way to change that up is to stop. Stop working on that piece, whatever it is, a painting or a sculpture or whatever the creative idea is. If you've lost the momentum and the energy behind it, it's okay. Just put it aside for a bit. Your energy will return after a period of time. Sometimes things just take a little more time to generate and keep that creative momentum in place. So that's about being mature. Like, if you can be mature with your work and say, yeah, I just need a little rest on this thing. I'm going to go work on this instead. So that's why I like to have a variety of things in the studio at the same time. So value your art, and people will value it as well. Another thing that's really important is that, as a artist that's, in business for myself, I have to keep the paperwork. I have to do all the invoicing. I have to keep the books. I have to write the checks. And if you're in my position, you know what that means, is that you can't let that slip. You have to stay focused on the other aspect of your creative life. And that's the business part, the paperwork. It's really important to have that in place as well. So, if you can't do it, if you're the kind of person that doesn't want to do it or can't do it, there are professionals that will help. There are professional bookkeepers that will come to your studio, or you can take your business records to them and they will keep you on track with your financial thing. And that's really important. It's another way to value what you do is by appreciating the business and the money that has to transpire or transact when you do sell a piece. So that all has to be in order. It has to be in a professional way and kept in a way that makes sense for everybody. So if you can't do it, find someone that can help you. Really good idea. And you know, I'm sure everybody's heard of the law of attraction by now. I mean, that's out there. It's been out there for years. But, you know, I abide by that. I think the law of attraction, where, you know, you believe in something more than what you have, and that brings it to you. If you have that positive attitude about yourself and about your art and about your work, then it's going to change. Now, you say, well, maybe that's not the case, but if you think of it in the opposite terms, you know, if you don't have a positive attitude about your work and you're thinking, well, you know, I don't like it, or I'll never sell that, or I'll never get that much money for it, then how can that ever be the truth? How will you ever do it if you can't keep a positive idea about your art? So in that sense, the law of attraction is much more valuable in the sense of a positive attitude towards what you do. So, you know, if that's the topic or theme today, is keeping a positive attitude about your art, about your business, about your creativity, it all shows and it all will come out in the end when your piece is complete and how you make the presentation. So, a really good friend of ours said that having a negative attitude in your life is having a sick mind. Now that sounds pretty drastic, but I think it's true in a lot of ways, because our mind is naturally positive. Like, we naturally have a positive attitude in our lives. It's the outside influences that cause us to have negativity, you know, the pressures and the misconceptions about what art is, you know, how society tells us we can't make a living, or we can't sell it, or you'll never make it as an artist. Those kinds of negative things are pressures from the outside. It's the myths of the artist world. So those kinds of things change our attitude. So we have to be aware of it and stay positive. You stay positive, you're going to do well. I promise. So another question that came up is, you know, what do I market my work on an international level? Should I move from my local space and try to be an international business? Well, really, the thing is, your local marketplace, whatever that is, your city that you live in, your town that you live in, or whatever, is your home base. And you need to really go there first. You need to be in your home marketplace, first of all. And it's easy, and it's easy to relate to your clientele. So what's really important is that you be able to keep a relationship with the people that buy your art or that you sell your art to. That's the key. Whether it's international or local, doesn't matter. It's the relationship that's really important. So if it's local, you have a better opportunity to keep a relationship with people that are local. It just makes more sense. But you can also keep relationships through the internet, through Facebook or multimedia, in any way. Social media is a great way, but personal connections are really the best. I think all of this interest in social media is great, but it leads to one thing. It leads to the opportunity to have a personal relationship with the people that want to see your art and want to buy your art. So that's the thing to focus on. Relationship and relationship, relationship. So I think that's all I have to cover today. Oh, well, just one more thing. I wanted to just show you the layup on this piece here, because what we're doing is measuring with the calipers, and there's so many different aspects of this piece that I can show you. If we can bring the camera around the other side here, I just want to show you how I was starting this piece. So this is always the challenge. How do you go from the model to the Jade? Now here, I chose highlights. Like this is where the form changes direction, right here on the back. And I'm going to include this base in the Jade, so I'm making a measurement from the bottom up. So here, I put that mark here. So that's where the direction is going to change to mark the piece. Now this is also, it's like a grass portion of the base, so that's also marked here. So I go around with the calipers and I mark the different areas. I keep a center line, and you can see I've scribed the center line through the middle here, and then I do it again here. And from the center line, I measure out, and I mark the high spot, and use center lines to guide my eye through the sculpting process. So as you can see, the form is starting to move there with the neck, and still bulky, of course, but that's the way we want it at this point. Okay, well, thanks for watching today. I enjoyed being with you, and I hope those questions and answers were helpful today. So hope to talk to you next week. Bye for now.